I look at it and go, in the first business that we bought, I give a percentage away to the person that I was buying it off ongoing. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. I was that sort of, how much do I give away just to sort of get that over the line? That ended up giving them a percentage away of the profits of the business. The most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. So now, obviously, to get into the business that we are, we're able, because of the case studies that we've created, in order to obviously, completely put nothing but legal fees down. But is the businesses out there that you can do on day one, that I've done, that with no money down, absolutely not a penny, other than, there's ways that you can even pay legals. I've just done another way where we've done a management phase for a couple of months, because I knew I was going to get whacked with a 10-15 grand legal fee. We've done it as a management process where our profits then paid for the legal fees. So that was an infinite ROI, if you will, because that was absolute no money down. I'm at it 18 hours a day, and I get passionate about it when I say that. People say, Dean, how are you getting the results that you're doing? And I'm like, because I'm working bloody hard. There's no doubt about it. Is there an element that could be worked smarter? Absolutely. Just been speaking there. There's a couple of the early businesses that we purchased back in the day that I will be looking to offload before Christmas, because I made a promise to Steve and Gemma in Dubai that I'd actually this year scale back to scale up. We unfortunately did that just bit of growth in the first 6 months, because everything around about this time of the year for us in 2022 is now coming to fruition, where deferred payments are now paid off, and businesses are now in our full entirety. So it's we're getting to a position where there will be cash in the bank, solid cash in the bank at the end of the month, but we've just got to go through this grizzle period. So yeah. Just if you're going through that deferred buyout, deferred consideration, you need to make sure. We were crunching numbers the other day about how much money you should offer over and how much money that you need cash in the bank. So I didn't do two things. Firstly, the monetary value that we were given over a month wasn't quite right, and also the payment period, the term wasn't quite right, and that caused serious pain, because obviously what we needed to do as we grew, even though each centre, each business had their managers and whatnot, we clearly had to create our senior management structure. So the issues that we were having, as soon as we went through that £1 million barrier, we had to invest in senior management. So because my deferred payments weren't stretched out as long as they could be, that then caused pain when I'm having to pay my ops managers 30, 40, 50, 60 grand. So that's painful, because I could not agree more with what Carlos said about the cash flowing situation. And I was speaking to Nikki there. Some of the businesses now were them sort of 2 or 3 bed semis, and now we're into buying sort of, I don't know, the equivalent of 30, 40, 50 bed HMOs in the property lingo, but it's now they don't serve anymore. So what Carlos was saying is you've got to make sure that you're protecting cash flow at all time, because as we know, cash is king. I'd rather have a really simple, straightforward strategy, respect to Mark, to say cash flow in and cash still to play with. What a position to be in. So them painful points that I certainly found myself in, where cash was tight because I didn't stretch the terms out. So you just got to don't jump into something, don't go too quickly, So I know probably my ass kicking at Mastermind is, Dean, you've gone out with the blocks quick. I'm aware of that, but there's also, now I'm fully aware of that scaling back to scale up has now got to happen. So then businesses can literally serve me onto the next rung of the ladder. Yeah, stretch out your terms and make sure your monthly payments are good. Yeah, me and Luke were talking about it in January in Dubai, about the 1.5 debt ratio, and that's purely because we were talking the other day, it has to be a 50%. The issue that we've got in leisure and hospitality is it's very capital X heavy. I call it fast pounds. It's not the amount of stuff that we need to pay out on the regular, you know, just could be anything, the repair work that we have to do. Because the volume of people going through, there's always repairs and things to be done. That's just the nature of the beast. So making sure that you've got that 1.5 debt ratio is important. So making sure that if you're paying them a 10 grand, you have to make sure that you've got a 10 grand sat in your bank, because I guarantee you, even on paper, cracking 120 grand at the end of the year, name me a business owner that goes, I have to dip into that pot. Sick of buying businesses where we've had to go in and spend a fortune putting them right from a legal point of view. And that's me being honest. You know, we've seen all sorts of businesses where they've not been trading in a way that they should have been. You know, electrical certificates, they still need to be done in the business world. Fire audits and things like that. So it's just being very careful. But again, speak to the sparkies, speak to the plumbers, speak to the gas engineers, and make sure that you've got that power team around you. So what we looked at is we were looking at making sure it was like a 50%, correct me if I'm wrong, that's where we need it to be. So that 1.5 is making sure that if we're giving them a full, there's still a 50%, whatever that needs to be, making sure it's in our bank account. So over the year, 10 grand to them, and making sure that we've got the 10 grand sat in our bank, because I know guaranteed 7 grand of that's going to have to go out on unexpectedness. But these are all learns, and again, this is why I won't allow things to stop me and that fear thing, because you won't know until you do it. That's just an absolute fact. Steve, what? In my senior team, yeah, there's 7, 8 of us. So obviously we've got offices upstairs. We've got obviously the ops director, ops managers. We've got someone in finance there. We've got our admin team and the area managers as well that kind of base themselves. So I can't do it without them guys. There's no doubt about it. They do a fantastic job. They know more certain things about my business than I do. I can't remember who I showed my group chats to there, but all that stuff is just going on in the background. They're on about ordering, they're on about PRS and PPL licensing, things like that. It's just like that stuff just gets handled. But again, that's where I come down to. You are only one person. If you want it to grow this, there's 2 different things between a business owner and a business runner. If you're running the business, you're in the business. If you're business owning, you're on the business, keeping a watchful eye, but you don't have to designate as much time as you think you need to.